Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Total Biscuit. I thought I'd put this quick video together to let you know about a couple of StarCraft events that I will be casting in the not-too-distant future. And by not-too-distant future, if you're watching this on Friday the 14th of December, like tonight, you may wish to pay attention. So myself and a group of other casters have been asked at fairly short notice to cast an event, which some of you may be familiar with. Some of the guys that are maybe just new to StarCraft 2 are kind of casual, probably don't know about. It is OGN's Proleague. Now, Proleague is pretty damn famous in Brood War, but has only really got going recently in StarCraft 2, and this is the first StarCraft 2 only Proleague. The previous Proleague event was actually doing a hybrid event based around the two games, which was just a little bit weird, but now they've converted entirely over to StarCraft 2. Now, Proleague didn't actually have an English broadcast, and they still don't out of the studio, but Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid, who you should be familiar with, are providing a stream that is using a so-called clean feed that's being sent from the OGN studio, and then the casters will remote in and cast over that. So we watch their observer, and then we commentate over that stream for you. Now, that stream is free, which is pretty neat indeed, and this is an event that goes on 4 nights a week, so quite a lot of StarCraft action. If you want to know when, well, tonight's event kicks off with myself and Mr. Bitter casting at 2:30 AM GMT. Now, if you want to know what that is in other time zones, I can figure that one out for you. That would be 9:30 PM the previous day, just to confuse you, so Friday, 9:30 PM. On the east coast of the US. West Coast time would be 6:30 PM, and if you're looking for the time in Europe, that would be 3:30 in the morning Central European time. And as for Sunday's broadcast, it's just half an hour later than that, so 3 AM GMT on the Sunday, which of course would be 10 PM on the Saturday Eastern Standard Time, and 7 PM Pacific Standard Time. Now, I'll be casting 2 nights this week. As to how many I'll be casting in future, well, that really varies because it's a case of getting whichever casters are available to actually do this, and those who actually want to do it as well. So the number of casters for this event is limited. I'm looking to maybe do 1, maximum 2 nights a week of this for the foreseeable future. So we'll see how that one goes, and the broadcasts on the other days, at least at the moment, will be done by TLO and Adabisi. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a very interesting and unique event. For those of you who do not know, Proleague is set up in a way that you perhaps haven't experienced before, which is why it's worth checking out to see whether or not it's a format that intrigues you. So what you've got are a bunch of teams, and you then have a set of 1-on-1 matches, which are based on one map, but the score from the map is then added to the team score. So one team sends out one guy, one team sends out the other guy, they fight on a one-on-one basis. Now, this is not like GSTL, where they reactively pick and where the winner stays on, so the so-called all-kill format. That's not how it works. So you've got these matches that are set up. Basically, the teams pick which player they want on which map beforehand, and then everything is revealed all at the same time, and then they all fight each other, and the point is for your team to win the best of 7. So let's just say that Team A and Team B are fighting it out. Team A wins 4 maps in a row, and that's it. That is their win for the Pro League, and then their points go on the board. Pro League actually goes on all year. It's a huge event with a lot of different rounds. This year, the season's going to be a year long with 6 rounds. Most of the rounds are going to be this best of 7 Pro League format, and then a couple of the rounds are going to be the classic all-kill format that you see in events like GSTL. Now, for the first time, we're going to have a foreign team competing in Pro League, which is kind of a big deal. The alliance of Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid will be competing. They will be competing on Saturday or Sunday if you happen to have passed midnight, so if you're in Europe or anything along those lines. And they will be fighting against CJ Entus, which is a team that Idra used to play on in Brood War for a time. And we will also have matches from STX Seoul and Samsung Khan happening on that day. As regards to what's going on tonight, well, we've got a pretty classic matchup in the form of KT Rolster versus 8th Team. Those of you who don't know KT Rolster, well, you probably know the name Flash. That's pretty much all you need to know, but in reality, that team's got a ton of talent depth, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they can compete, and their standings in Week 1 are pretty solid. They went 4-0 with a +4 points. They didn't drop a single map, in fact, the only team to do so in Week 1, so I would suggest keeping an eye on those guys. They'll be going up against Team 8, also referred to as 8th Team, and they have been doing pretty well too. As regards to who they have, well, Up until recently, they actually had Jaedong, who's now headed over to Evil Geniuses, so you'll be seeing him perform for them. C also used to be on their team, now part of Team Liquid, but aside from that, you want to be keeping an eye out on players like Baby, who is unbelievably good. This will be a very interesting matchup as well. Also going on tonight, we've got Hyunjin Stars versus SK Telecom T1. Also an absolutely fantastic team. Hyunjin Stars happen to have Solky on the team, one of my favorite Zerg players, and also SK Telecom T1 have unbelievable players like Rain and Sue, who have already been very successful. Fantasy, the famous Terran player, is there too. They also have Bisu, who's not been doing amazingly well, but we're looking for some good performances from him. And a recent addition from Slayers, in fact, we have Dark, who you may remember from many tournaments, including, of course, NASL. I'm expecting these to be absolutely fantastic matchups, and it is, of course, my honor and privilege to be able to cast this and bring it to you. As I said, I don't know how many of these I'll be doing, but I estimate I'll be casting at least one match a week, assuming I don't piss them off. If you want to tune in, then you need to head over to twitch.tv/SC2Proleague. That is twitch.tv/SC2Proleague. Alternatively, you can find a link to the stream on the right-hand sidebar over on teamliquid.net. Following my Twitter, Facebook, and all sorts of other good stuff is usually a good idea as well if you want to keep abreast of the situation. I will link you when it's about to go on the air. Alright, well, that is not the only tournament news. Those of you who've been following me on Team Liquid and in various other places will know that I'm organizing another SHOUTcraft tournament. That's actually going to be happening this Sunday, kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 5 p.m. PST, and unfortunately 1 in the morning over in the UK, 2 in the morning Central European Time. There was no real way we could avoid that because we are playing an all-Korean event. It's going to be so-called House of the Swarm, whereby it's a 5-man round-robin event consisting of all of guys currently living in the house that we have unofficially dubbed the Temporary Axiom House. The players involved will be Axiom's Crank, Ryung and Mia, as well as Team Ace's MMA and Complexity's Heart. They're going to be playing Heart of the Swarm in a round-robin format. That means everyone plays everyone in a best-of-1, so that's 10 maps in total. Then the guys with the highest map score will go on to play a best-of-5 for the $1,000 prize pool. So that's going to be a really fun event. It's a bit smaller than what we're used to doing for SHOUTcraft, but I have a feeling it's going to be a really fun one-day look at what Heart of the Swarm is like when played by top-tier Korean professional gamers. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I expect a lot of inter-house banter and bad manner. You can check that one out over on twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit, and if you miss it, which you probably will if you're in Europe, unless you're incredibly hardcore, then you will be able to find the VODs on this channel after the event has finished. So there you go, folks. Proleague and SHOUTcraft's House of the Swarm tournament on their way to you over the next few days. My name has been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for watching. Please do come show up and check out these streams. They are really, really cool indeed, and I will see you next time.